I think, was Johnson's cross that Richarlison ducked out of for some reason 2 yards from goal. The rest of it was absolute dog shit. It was the worst 45 minutes that I've seen for a long, long time. It was worse than Chelsea. At least
both teams were scared of each other.
That's right. Chelsea played some decent football. Both sides in the first half last Saturday were appalling. And the second half, Spurs were better. You know, we came out. The keeper made those saves from Romero and Polinia. And bit by bit, and he started making substitutes from the hour mark. And Odegaard came into his own. Yes, okay, Sesko was injured. They were down to 10 men. But you know what? Teams defend, and Sesko was the centre forward. He was the furthest player. He would have been the furthest player forwards. We still had to beat. We still had to beat. You know, when teams play a low block, Sean, they won't play all 11. They'll leave one up. Well, that one was off the pitch with Sesko. So you know, it was like playing against a low block again. They all funnel back. The 10 men funnel back. You're trying. It's not easy to beat 10 men. You know, if they set up properly and they're organised, and you got to do something a little bit different. And Odegaard was doing that, and he was beating his man, which was creating extra space, and we scored the 2 goals. I mean, it was a lovely ball into Tell, great turn and shot. And the second goal came from, again, a lot of pressure, and Odegaard hit a shot nicely, and Richie nicked the goal. But you know, it was a rerun of the Europa final. The first half was a rerun of that. The Europa final.
Let me bring this into the equation. This is a stat that I don't know, Perchy, have you seen this today?
I saw it somewhere. I'm sure Stell sent it somewhere. Just checking.
How did your answer dig me out? How does that happen?
Did you not send it?
Can't you just say yes? All they have to say was I saw it, but no.
I'm just saying.
Just saying.
What are you saying?
I did.
Perchy, make sense of this. So what are we thinking here?
Well, we don't make through balls. I think it's quite a self-explanatory statement, right? We don't make many through balls.
Yeah, look, but is that by design, or is that a consequence of something else?
Look, I'd like to know a bit more depth on this stat. Is this successful through balls, or is this attempted through balls? I don't know. My point is because that would give you a better answer.
Actually, it's successful. It's successful.
Yeah. So I can't remember every little bit of detail. That could be a combination of players like fucking Richarlison and shit aren't very good, or our wide players aren't making very good runs, that the through balls aren't making it, or are we actually actively not making those passes? It could be a bit of a combination of both. Look, it's not good reading, but I think for us at the moment, I think the key bit is I think the bigger picture of it all, though, on that side of things, that isn't great. I mean, it just shows, by the way, how many Arsenal do, by the way, and that's the golf in the class at the moment, massively. I mean, 4 times is enormous in the short space of time. But look, I think that's a damning stat. As I said, I'd like to know how many of those were attempted and failed. That would be if someone can dig those stats, I don't know if they will, because those stats, if Estelle's saying are only successful ones, is it that we're attempting them and we're not really doing it, or are we just not attempting them? Either way, it's not great. For me, look, I think mine's more of a simpler answer on it all. I think the key player at the moment is Kulusevski. I think he would thrive in the system and actually offer such more attacking threat. Where he plays him in this system, I don't know. May have to shuffle the deck a little bit to find a way to get him, but I think he's crucial to get back in. Maddison, we're not going to see all season. I think you need to get those 2 back before we can start actually going, okay, this is, because here's the conundrum, right? We're jumping at it now, and fair enough, people have their opinions, and I'm not disputing anyone's opinion. You're allowed it. I want to see how we attack when we have our better attackers on. As I said, we're missing 4? Is it 4? 4 key attackers, right? 5, right? So let's wait until we see those. And that's why I kind of sort of said this season, let's see how we progress. I think Chris made a point earlier, and a good point was let's see how we dip into the market in January. And we need to get a bit more attacking strength. I think for me, I think there is a part of me that I can agree on the part of the design bit. Maybe it's on design, but is it on design because maybe he doesn't trust the attackers that we have at the moment? And I think Frank setting up his attacking lineup tells me he's not sure. Let's be fair. If he was comfortable with the attacking players that we have, you would see the same ones playing most weeks. The fact is 1 minute we're going, who's he going to play? 1 minute Richarlison's on the left. 1 minute he's up top. 1 minute Odegaard's playing. 1 minute Tell's playing. I don't think the manager knows the best attackers for his system. And I think that is ultimately come to the position where we're at, where trying not to lose might be the answer right this moment in time until we solve that situation. As I said, I think it's a waiting game. I remember having this conversation with a few mates of mine that were Brentford fans. They said at the start of it was, whoa, this guy, I don't know if this guy knows what he's doing. And they said after a year, you will start seeing the fruits of the labour. I just think we're a little bit impatient. I'm not saying anyone here isn't, but I think we are quite impatient because we want to see now, in the sense of the football's got to be perfect immediately. I just don't think we, at the moment, can do that with the lacking attacking quality and we have at the moment. I genuinely don't think we've got great quality in the attacking third at the moment.
That's the issue, Perch. If at the moment, if you're looking at Spurs between now and the January window, which is all we can talk about because the window might bring new players, and hopefully Kulu, Frank said, should be back by the end of the year. But if you're looking at it for the next, what have we got? 8 games? Is it 9 games? I think between now and the end of end of this year. You think that obviously Kudus is your showing on the right wing. Odegaard now is starting to make that position his own. And the centre forwards, you just don't know. You would think because there's a pecking order, because he's established, he'll keep Richie there. So
no, I think he goes Tell. I think he's got to play Tell at this point.
Maybe. Would you put? Listen, I'd start with Tell at the Emirates next week, whether he will or not.
I do think though the Emirates he goes. Contrary to what I've just said, I think against the Arsenal he'll go Richarlison, mainly because he'll want that physical presence there.
Yeah.
That'll be. By the way, not saying that Richarlison's a physical presence. I think he's as weak as shit. But I think he's one of those that will almost be try and rattle a little bit. I don't agree with it, but
I looked it up. I looked it up just quickly, Perchy. It is completed through balls, and Brian Mbumo has as many completed through balls this season by himself than Tottenham, the entire Tottenham team.
Isn't that not the problem that we aren't making very good attacking runs though? I think it comes at. By the way, I don't if it's by design or if it's the quality of players not making necessarily those runs. I think that's the key. I think that's the question, right? It'd be interesting to see how many we've attempted and how many have failed, right?
Can I just add to that, actually? I've just looked that up as well, Sean, and the definition of that table, it's the exact same numbers, so that must be where it comes from. Completed pass sent between back defenders into open space. Whatever that means. But by the sounds of that definition, it's looking more from defence. I don't know. I mean, I don't know. What do you guys think that means? Completed pass sent between back defenders into open space.
Yeah.
Isn't that just two
Isn't that a progressive pass though? Because I've got
Through ball.
Tottenham's I've got Tottenham's progressive pass stats here. Right, check this out. Who do you think on a per 90 basis has the highest progressive pass? If people think that progressive passes are a problem at Tottenham, which they clearly are, who do you think has the per 90 basis the most progressive passes?
I mean, what's the definition though? Is it just anything that moves vaguely?
Romero.
Completed passes.
Christian Romero.
Completed passes that move forward.
Christian
I'd probably go Vicario.
On a per 90.
Vicario.
It's outfield players. Sorry, outfield players. It's your boy Archie Gray, Lubo. 8.75 progressive passes per 90, significantly higher than anybody else in the top.
That's a statistical anomaly, though. You can't be using that. He's played how many games? One game?
I'm saying it's on a per 90 basis. I'm just saying per 90 basis.
If your data set is minute, you can't.
Yeah, exactly. That's ridiculous. You can't really. That's like you can't.
Right.
Yeah.
Now we're not going to hear the end of this from Lubo. What?
Honestly,
God.
Like, why would you drop that into this stream? Like, it's hard enough dealing with him on the group chat, let alone dealing live to the 389 people here. And are you liking? That's the question. Hit the like button. You absolute fraud.
I think, Perchy, just to add, in the background while you guys have been talking, I've got a degree in stats, by the way. So I've been just having I love looking at numbers.
Of course you do, with all the other degrees.
I am that boring. I am that boring. But I've just been playing with some of the numbers on FB Ref. And one that stood out for me is that Spurs have the most number in the league. If you rank them, we are top of the league for the number of times our players have miscontrolled a ball and lost possession. Which possibly says something about our technical ability, I guess.
Chris, that just goes to show, doesn't it, that Gray should be playing a lot more.
Oh, Jesus.
Can you, Chris, can you do me a favour? Can you get that data for last season, please?
At the moment.
Last season, yeah, probably.
Yeah, show me for last season, because I've got a theory on this. I just need to prove it with your data.
Don't wait for me. Carry on talking.
No.
I need your data, though, without your data.
Look, as I said,
Actually, just give me 1 second. Let me just catch up on one thing, guys. Dean Law Houdini, big up to you, mate. He has started the super sticker train. We really appreciate you. Choo to you, mate. Thank you very much indeed. The super sticker train has commenced, buddy. Appreciate your support. But guys, there's nearly 400 people here. All we ask is that you smash the like button. Apologies if there was some over talking in the first. The entire show so far. We're trying to get on top of it, but please also hit the subscribe if you haven't already, and we can carry on. Sorry, Perch, you carry on, mate.
No. I just think at the moment, I think we need to. I think. Look, I don't disagree. I don't think anyone's disagreeing with this, but I think we just need to see how it plays out, right? I think we can micro-analyze every little statistical bit of data, and we can start delving into every little thing. Is it by design? Is it the players? Look, I think there's probably a combination of both. I think that's always normally the way. There's a pie of problems that we're trying to solve. It's never normally one issue. Look, I think we'll start seeing how we get on when we start getting better players. I think we need better attacking football players. And I think we will start naturally seeing us playing much better progressive football slowly through the progression of what we're doing. I think let's see how it unfolds. It'll be interesting to see how we do in the league. I think we will finish there or thereabouts this season. I think we will, as I've always said, we're going to finish anywhere between 4th and 8th in that sort of better than we'll be. Hopefully we can be better of the rest after the sort of top 3 would be lovely. I think we'll be there or thereabouts this season. And look, I think we just got to see how it goes. I'm also not one of these to sit there and says Frank can do no wrong against what other people would say. I don't. I just think that we've only just seen what we're getting. Look, it's not pretty on the eye immediately, but I think we are defensively better. Objectively, we aren't losing by stupid goals, loads and loads of goals this season. We're still making mistakes, by the way. We need to start weeding those mistakes off. I think there are a few more defensive errors that we are making.
Are we better? Are we as good as we were last season with the ball going forward, though, Perchy?
Going forward, no. I think you can tell we're not, but we haven't. And I'm not going to blame injuries for what you said, but when you have got players like Richarlison playing as your 9 consistently, that's got to be a question mark. That guy is awful. I think can we at least agree that Richarlison in front of goal?
He's our top goal scorer this year.
Huh?
Top goal scorer. 4 goals and 2 assists in 11 games.
No. Hang on. Mickey's got 6, Sean.
No, in the Premier League, Richarlison's got 4 and 2 assists. 6 from 11. But if that carries on, that's a 20 GA a season, you know?
Just as long as he doesn't take his effing shirt off will be lovely. I would have seen that man with his shirt off, by the way. Honestly, what is he doing?
Oh, I agree with you, Perchy. I agree with you. He's absolutely terrible. Sorry, Stel.
Can I bring up Chris's stats, right? So Chris said this year, in fact, Chris, you read the stats and explain it, and I'll tell you why the stats are like this, because I know what's happened.
Yeah, so this season, we are top of the league for miscontrols by our players. So our players gone to control the ball and controlled it so badly that we've lost possession, right? We've had 199 times that's happened. So that averages out at 18.1 miscontrols a game. Last season, Stel, you asked me to get that. So we were 7th worst in the division. And the total number doesn't really mean a lot. But per game last season, we were 14.1. So we're miscontrolling the ball 4 times more. For context, if anyone's interested, Sunderland are currently the best this season with 11.5 a game miscontrols.
The reason we're worse this year is because under Ange, we primarily focused on passing drills. Pass. You are going to have better control of the ball if that's what you're training on. Under Frank, we don't train on that nowhere near the same. We train more on defending and being more attack-minded down the wings. So naturally, same group of players, you haven't really changed much of the skill set other than adding Kudus, Paulinho, Marani and Tell, but we've lost Werner, Son and whoever else we sold. When you take the same squad, the reason we've got worse control this year is because we are not playing that passing game, which improves your touch. That's what's happened.
Still, last season we had Maddison, we had Kulu, and we had Archie Gray playing.
Madison was injured a lot. Kulu was injured a lot.
No, Madison was only out at the end of the season, though, weren't he?
We had no Van der Ven and Romero for about 3 months. I mean, I'm just saying, both squads are roughly the same. For me, the drop-off is simple. The match is basically an extension of the practice. What you do in practice should be replicated on a match day. The drop-off the first touch or losing possession is because we don't train for possession-based football. That's what we did last year. That's Ange's philosophy. That's also why we were shit at defending, because we didn't practice any of that. We didn't practice any defending under Ange. So I bet you the defensive stats will show that we're much better this year if Chris looks up those.
Still, do you not think that a Premier League player, we're talking creme de la creme here, a Premier League player should be able to control the ball and pass it? What do you think?
But if you don't practice, what you're good at, you will drop off, no matter how good you are.
Yeah, I agree with Stel on that. I think when we talk about it just as Premier League football players as just inanimate robots, it doesn't actually work like that. I actually don't disagree with what Stel's saying here. That might be part of it. I don't think that's I think Stel's right.
Actually, it's why our defensive stats are better, because because
we're much more.
Hold on. Our defensive stats are better because we've got defenders playing in the back four. Last year we had 2. This year we had 4. Sorry, this year 4.
You can see we practice it. You can see we're more coached.
But we're much more organised, and I don't actually disagree with our way of doing that. I think we had a team that was exposed defensively last season, and now we've got to actually start defending like a football team again. I think it's not. For me, I'm at this stage. If people want Frank out, I've seen so many people in the chat screaming. I'm like, relax, but he's going nowhere, right? I think the one thing I find funny, right, is are you Frank out? Are you Frank in? I don't think it matters. He's not going anywhere, right? He's not going anywhere. I just think we just need to see it play out, and I stand by that. I think let's just see how this plays out. By the way, I've always stand. If we're like this next season and we don't see that progression, then we're having conversation going, is this it? But Frank's a manager that will need time. It's not going to get it done overnight. We've not just dropped a manager into a team that is just all of a sudden going to be great. Right? We finished 17th in the league. We were crap last season. So it is going to take time. I think the one thing is I think what Stel is right. I think we do need to improve better passing. I think we need better passes on the ball. I don't think we've got many that are good passers in our team. Good players that put a foot on the ball and can pass it. I look and watch the likes of battleground and everyone's sort of screaming for them to start. I don't think they're very good on the ball. I'm watching some of their passing was awful recently. Sarr and Bergvall. You could probably throw in a few more in there. Those are the two I saw from midfield.
Yeah, but Perchy, until we sign better passes, the only way you get better at it is by practicing.
Yeah.
Until you sign these better players. Otherwise, don't play a passing game.
At least can't you see
I'd like to see our passing stats from last year, because we still had Sarr last year, we still had Bergvall last year, we still had Bentancur last year, and obviously Bissouma's not there right now. Because I don't think we are that bad at passing. I just think that I kind of agree with Stel. I think that we're clearly not practicing it. I think, Chris, you just put another stat in the chat there saying that we're top of the list, top of the league for tackles made. Last season we were 10th, right? So to me, I think there's a hell of a lot of statistical data to be able to suggest that we are focusing most of our time on the training ground. Not that we get too much of it, but I think we're spending a hell of a lot of time focusing on the defensive side, and it's fine. And I hear the argument that Tottenham need to fix the back line first, or fix the defense, become solid, become difficult to beat. That's cool. But at what point do we shift from that into something that we do more with the ball? Because we are regressing as a footballing team, in my opinion. And we were better at the start of the season when we still had the hangover from Ange, the hangover. But we now have we're now like 3 months. We're 3 months into Thomas Frank ball, and I think we're getting worse with the ball than we ever have been. So I'd like to know when the people are going to sit there. Enough time is gone now that we can be starting to do things. We are solid at the back. We're better at the back. We all can all agree with that. At what point do we start to focus on moving the ball better?
That's right. Listen, for me, it comes down to players. Break it down. The average amount of minutes the ball is in play, I think, in a Premier League game is something like 44. I think. If we're around the
44
Sorry,
minutes.
Chris?
It's a bit higher than that. I was reading about this yesterday. I think it's about 50
Not
50
much
minutes.
higher.
It's not a lot.
50.
I thought it was 60 minutes.
The ball is actually in play for 50 minutes. Yep.
Chris, one sec, Chris, can you just do me one favour? Is there any chance that whilst you're sitting there, can you have a quick look at the comparative passing stats? Well, because we had essentially the same midfield last season as we do this season, right? So I'd love to just see whether or not our midfield passing stats were significantly better last season than they are this season.
Yeah,
because if they are, then again, people are making out like, and I see Danny Kiriakou, big up Danny, in the chat saying we're only going to get better when we get better players. Well, if we had better stats last year with the same or worse players, then that doesn't suit the argument, does it?
But we haven't shown, because the main creation. No, but Maddison's missing, Kulu's missing, Solanke's missing. Solanke holds the ball up better than Richie. So we're worse off.
Yeah, but we've got Kudus, we've got Paulinho. They're better players than what we had last season.
And we have Xavi Simons.
Exactly. We've got a fit Van der Ven and a fit Romero.
Hang on, Danny, how is it ridiculous to sit there and compare last season's midfield with this season on the passing stat? And if the passing stats suggest that we were pretty good at passing last year, then that means that the players that we currently have are not that horrendous at passing. How is that a ridiculous concept? It feels like you are terrified that the data might suggest that your argument is a little bit silly. I don't know if it will. I really hope it does right now, because if it doesn't, I'm in the mud. But no. Chris is giving me the look. He's not
I think you're fine, mate. I think you're fine.
No, but I think from what I saw, it'd be interesting to see. It'll be interesting to see the stats. I think what we did were more progressive runs last season. Over maybe the passing might be higher, right? It'd be interesting to see. But I think last season, from what I saw last season, a lot of it was all about running the ball forward, getting that ball, traveling with the ball more than necessary passing. It'd be interesting. As I said, I don't know. That's only from what I can recollect from last season. It was all
Perchy. We were a front-footed, all-out, guns-blazing attack. We were the Wild West. This year, we are far more controlled and far more defensive. It's that simple.
No, I don't disagree with you. Actually, I think you're right on that. But isn't it not that we can't just neglect the fact that we do need to organise first? I think the managers come in and said, look, the one thing we can't be doing is conceding loads of goals. We've conceded far too many goals for a football team that we did last season. Whatever happened, we conceded far too many. And the manager's come in and, yeah, maybe it's gone too far. I think this is a question. I'd be interested to see what everyone else thinks was, do you think it's going to be like this in 3-4 months' time, drifting into the second half of the season? Because I don't think it will be once players have come back.
Oh, actually, you look at the fixtures, look at the league fixtures between now and the end of the season. Arsenal, you expect to lose. Fulham, you expect to win. Newcastle away, defeat. Brentford at home, you think would win. Forest at home, Forest away rather. Forest away, maybe a draw. Liverpool at home, you'd lose. Then you got Palace and Brentford away. So it's going to be a real mix of results between now and the end of the season.
I think what you'll see there is you'll see the way. Look, I think we will win. I think we'll win those games. The Fulhams. Look, by the way, I had this argument still. You know exactly what's going to be said. But even like Newcastle, I think it's one of the key ones. Everyone tells me how great they are away, how great they are like at Newcastle. Statistically, they're not. 1-3 lost 2 right at home. They're not amazing at home like that. Everyone's making out. They're not this.
We're not good there.
No. I agree. Ironically, we're good away from home, right? So in a weird way, I have a weird feeling we might get a result there. But look, it's equally one of those though. Like I think
someone clip that.
Yeah, clip that.
1 hour 30 seconds.
Yeah, clip it. It's fine. I do the clipping, so you lot too lazy to do it. So I'll clip it. And if it doesn't happen, it's getting deleted. So it's all good.
Date today, 13th.
I think Chris has got an update to smash Danny Kiriaku's argument.
VAR'd it, Chris.
I listen. I'm not smashing anyone. I'm just giving you stat data, right? You can smash whoever you want to. Okay, so this season, on average, we attempt 483.5 passes a game, and we complete 388 of those. Last season, we were attempting 525 a game, and we completed 434. So we were completing roughly 55, 60 extra passes a game last season. And we had a slightly higher success rate as well. So
that backs my theory.
And it nails Danny Kiriaku. Nails him, bro. Nails him, Kiriaku.
What it does say, though, ironically,
big up, Chris.
The successful rate isn't massively higher than last. Like, my point is the successful passes, we weren't massively out.
2.5% is quite a big deal, mate. When it's
is it though?
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
You're just saying it is. Is that how it is? It's the Sean's world. It is.
Yeah, it is. It is.
So we've lost the ball on average 95 times every match, Chris. Is that this season?
Yeah, that's pretty similar to last season, actually. Though I think, isn't it, roughly 90-ish last season? So yeah. That's from passing, by the way. Also, add in that we're miscontrolling the ball more than any other team, so we're losing the ball from that as well. So your miscontrols are not in your failed passes here.
And it's a good question from George in the chat. What direction did the passes go in?
Doesn't matter. A touch is a touch. Control is control.
All right.
Yeah. These are all passes.
That's you know what, George? That's the most ridiculous thing to put in the comments. That's like saying. That's like saying. Yeah, go on.
If Vicario's got the ball, he passes square to Mickey or QC. Yeah. Then he can do that 30 times a game, and that just.
But is it not more likely?
Yeah, but you're passing the ball more because that's the point. You're passing it more because you're playing possession-based football. That's why.
Is it not also more likely that Tottenham Hotspur last season were doing more progressive passes, trying to feed the ball up to the top than we are this season? I would imagine if we were to analyse and go into the rabbit hole on that particular stat, I'm sure you would find more horizontal, more sideways, more pass backs this season than you did under Ange Postecoglou because of his natural intention to move forward. So I would say that, and obviously I don't know that for a fact, but on that presumption, then not only are the stats, we're attempting more, we're completing more at a higher percentage rate, and we're probably being more aggressive last season than we are this season. So this narrative that our passing only gets better with better players, it statistically isn't true. Statistically, our improvements, we could have the same improvements as we had last season if we were just designing our football a little bit differently.
Well, you look at it, Sean, and you've got to say that we played a high line last season. We played more in the opposition's half. and we got caught. But it's right. Backward passes, virtually 100% success rate. Square passes along the back four, virtually, unless you're just not looking and you've hit a blind pass and the opposition's lurking behind, it's 100% virtually. So for us, it's a problem because the ball's going upfield and we're losing it upfield. And Kudus holds on to it brilliantly. Take him out. If you took his stats out, then these stats would look much, much worse.
I think he loses the ball a lot. He's quite a greedy player, though. I think he actually loses the ball quite a bit. Kudus.
Yeah, look,
he over-dribbles. He over-dribbles.
But you could argue, though, maybe he's at a position where he's going, well, I might as well try and take players on because I've got no running in those. So it goes a bit. I like Kudus. I think he's quality. I think he's probably one of the big successes at the moment. I think there's people kind of digging out a lot of what he does, but I think what we see with him is he is trying to open up stuff, right?
Do you know what a knife edge we're on at the moment? The next two games, let's say we get a draw at Arsenal, we beat Fulham, we could be top three very easily. Top three, maybe second. If we lose to Arsenal, draw to Fulham, we're like 11th in the league. That's the swing. We're sitting right on that pendulum, right on the fulcrum.
So
look at that. I think Perchy said earlier, are we above? We're above Bournemouth, aren't we now? You're right. We're 4 or 5 places ahead of him. The difference is we're on the same amount of points. It's just literally a goal difference. That's how tight the league is. From third to 10th is 3 points.
Makes my point about us not being widely open and getting battered every week and only losing by 1 goal. That's why our goal difference.
But we do get battered.
It also means if we were to have a little bit more risk, we might be on, and we were to go rather than going for a draw. If we were actually to go for a win, a loss or a win, then we could have 9 more points, or we could have 3 fewer points.
Yeah, but
either be on 15, or be on 27.
Your argument is always draws don't matter, but we don't get those 3 draws and we lose those games because you want us to go gung-ho and chaotic.
Yeah, on that scenario, we're down to 15.
Those three games put us in the bottom half. Those 3 games put us in the bottom half.
In that scenario, we're on 15 points. But if we go for those games and we go for those draws and we actually win the game, then we're on 27 points.
Can I Perchy? Can I ask you a question?
The irony is though that late goal, by the way. Sorry, I'll jump in. But that late goal by Man United in the end is the difference from us being 3rd in the league. And if we're talking do you know what I mean? As you say, swings and roundabouts. That we defend that corner and don't fall asleep for that corner in the death. That's the difference from us being 5th and 3rd. Would we be sitting there, sat 3rd in the league, sitting there going...
Yeah, but that's like saying the comeback against Brighton when we were 2-0 down. If we didn't make that comeback...
No, of course. That's what I said. If buts babies, right? If Miani had a dick, should be my uncle kind of crap. Of course, all that shit. But no, my point is though, we are at a position where... I know what we do a lot is we're so Spurs analytical, and I get it. We're Spurs fans. We will be. I don't think this football league is as good as everyone keeps telling me about how great the Premier League is. I don't think it's as good as everyone is. I think everyone's about the same. Look how many teams are in that same boat of points. Everyone's about the same. There's no real, apart from Arsenal, people hate to say it, are the only ones that you go, yeah, you guys are in control at the moment.
Am I right in saying that the Premier League teams are the best performing teams in the Champions League? We've got more teams in the top 10 than any other league in Europe.
Yeah, crappy old Tottenham, as everyone keeps saying, haven't lost there yet. So it's all good, isn't it? Little old Tottenham.
Perchy, can I ask you a question? Because you said about being wide open and crazy and gung-ho. Do you think it's possible with the current players we've got to still be defensively savvy, but throw more caution to the wind in the attack? Do you think there's a better balance that can be struck with the current players? If that's a question for all of you, I know Sean's answering it. But...
I think it's a fair argument. I think it's a fair argument in the sense of, I think there are moments that you can. I think what we're seeing at the moment is we are probably seeing the more pragmatic style of it all at the moment. So yeah, look, I think the argument will always come, and I think Stel, you'll agree with me on this part. I think if we start losing week in, week out, consistently every week playing like this, you're starting to go, well, hang on, what is going on? We're not at the moment. Yeah, I know Sean's argument is about draw is as much of a loss as possible, but we aren't losing week in, week out. I think you'll see this against Arsenal. We're going to sit in against Arsenal. I think we all probably would expect us to. Then after what I would say after the PSG game, we've got Arsenal, then PSG. I think after those two teams, you then start looking, going, well, Fulham, then you've got Slavia Prague in the middle of all that somewhere. We've got Newcastle. I think Brentford's in the middle. I think Lubo read them all out a minute earlier. So I think after the next two games, I'm including the Champions League games in this, I think you're going to start seeing. I think you're going to have to see a little bit more. I think you're going to see a little bit more when it comes to when Kulu comes back. I think that's going to be such an important one. I think we're going to see a little bit more when Kulu comes back, is my opinion. Look, clip that, as Stel would like to say, clip that, and we'll see how it goes. But
you guys all said Kulu was average. Now he's suddenly
I don't think Kulu's the best in it. What I do say though, what Kulu is good at though, what I will say, ironically, I think Kulu's better in a system that we're playing right now than he did when he was under Ange, in the sense of I think Kulu's better on the ball. He's a better technical football player.
Where would you play Kulu in Frank's system then?
It's a good question, actually, because I thought, do you play him out on the left? He doesn't really play there. Do you play him down the middle and then put Simmons out on the left? I think it's a good question. I'm not 100% sure where you put him. Do you have a way where you play maybe Kudus, Simmons, and Kulu, Kudus, and Simmons, and have some sort of almost three quite narrow 10s that can kind of alternate, something like that? It's a good question. I'm not 100% sure where you put him. Maybe put him in the 10 and push Simmons out on the left, maybe.
I remember the game.
Simmons isn't very good on the wide areas, I don't think.
Still, in Conte's first season, I remember we went to Villa Park, I think it was April, we won 4-0, and Kulu played out left, scored a lovely goal. I don't know if anyone remembers, smashing goal from the left-hand side. I think the guy is fairly versatile. It's interesting because
we didn't play 4-3-3 though.
Conte's team that finished fourth in the table, we were scoring goals for fun.
I know, but we didn't play 4-3-3 when Kulu was in that position.
Maybe he'll change it. Maybe when he gets players back, maybe he'll be more, more adapting with systems.
Is there an argument? Is there an argument to say you'd put someone like Kulu in the 9 and play him more like one of those?
It was a false 9. You could play him as a false 9.
He did play there.
All of our players are false 9s.
Yeah, true.
I don't think we should be playing a 4-3-3. I don't think we've got the squad of players to do it. Even when they're
4-2-3-1 though, don't we?
I think a 3-5-2, a 4-2-2-2. I think we should be playing with 2 10s, and one can pivot into the 8, into the 10. I think we should be playing with 2 10s. I think we should play with 2 forwards as well. I think we should play with 2 forwards, not 1.
We don't have the players for that right now, though, do we? For 2 10s.
Yeah, that's.
What would you play
when the squad's fit?
Fair enough.
Yeah. Not now. Yeah, no, not now, Chris. No, not now.
We were talking about this earlier, weren't we, Sean? The team is built for a 3-5-2 or 3 at the back with Poro and Udogie as wing backs. For me,
I think so. I think that when you've got you've got options in the defensive line, I think you can play. Romero can play in the middle and then drift into the DM role. He can be the progressing passer. Mickey van der Ven can have more license to carry the ball because he knows he's got support behind him if he does get picked off, which he can't do really. And we saw against Chelsea, he got picked off trying it. He tried it against United and he almost got picked off and got us in trouble. And so those things don't work if you're playing a back 4. Much easier to achieve if you're doing a back 3. And obviously it goes without saying that Udogie and Poro will probably benefit from a wing back system as well.
Because we only have 2 out and out fullbacks. and one is Spencer and one is Ben Davis, who shouldn't be anywhere near the first team. Porro and Udogie are wing backs, not fullbacks. So, and they're the guys they're two of the three that are playing every week. So for me, you're right. You play Danso on the right of Romero and Mickey on the left.